Welcome back to another episode of the OfferMojo Show, where we talk all about crafting, scaling, marketing, and selling online offers. Now, most of you know, if you've been listening to my podcast, that I am a very holistic person. I'm very much into alignment and energetics and all kinds of non strategy type things. Because I truly believe that who we are as people, who we are as business owners, how we identify, how much we love ourselves, how much we trust ourselves, believe in ourselves, believe in our offers, all of that contributes to the success of our business. So that is why I had to have our guest on today, Lisa Andria. And that is what we are going to be focusing on is the importance of loving ourselves, unconditional love. It can be so challenging, especially in a challenging business market when things are not selling the way we would like to them to sell. Our business isn't growing in the way we would like for it. It's so easy to point through fingers at ourselves and say, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong with us. Most of the time, that is not the case. But we do have to learn to believe in ourselves, to trust in ourselves, and to know that what we have to offer this world is valuable. So, Lisa is going to help us with that today. I'm going to introduce her. She is an emotional transformation coach with Ladies Who Leap Coaching. After experiencing her own personal transformation journey, Lisa is dedicated to transforming women by releasing the emotional clutter stuck in their unconscious mind. If you would like to make the loudest voice in your head your own biggest ally, then working with Lisa is the way to break free. Her Power Leap program is a coaching journey that leads you on a unique transformation journey. You become more aware of your inner self, release the emotional clutter keeping you stuck, and then gain the support to setting goals, taking action steps, and keeping yourself on track and accountable to reaching your dream life. Lisa's also the host of the popular Ladies Who Leap podcast and heads up a community of supportive women in her private Facebook group, Ladies Who Leap Club. So, welcome, Lisa, to the show. I am so glad to have you. I was recently a guest on Lisa's show as well, and she's a really, really good podcast host.
Thank you, Lori. I'm very excited to be here. And of course, I love the topic that you've designated for today. It's exactly what I do and what I believe in. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people probably when they see, OfferMojo Show, and it's about soulful marketing techniques, people think, okay, she's talking all about marketing and offers, and not always, because I know the importance of having a holistic strategy. And I know personally the importance of aligning your identity and your belief in yourself around your offers so that you have more success in selling them. But first, what I want to hear from you is how you kind of got on this journey yourself.
Yeah, because I'm in my early 60s, so it's taken a while. And I did spend a good part of my life, 41 years to be exact, in the corporate world, in telecom. And it was very stressful over time. I just never focused on myself. I was that little girl who had the thick glasses and books in her hand and ugly and bad haircut and picked on or ignored. So I went through life just trying to fit in, trying to shapeshift to be the person that I could get friends that would like me, relationships. I was married once, and nothing seemed to make me happy.
Okay.
And when it came down to taking a break from the corporate world about 4 years before I fully retired,
Okay.
realized that my body was being affected by the stress of my
Mm,
work. And it was a
okay.
dentist that called me out. I mean,
A
he was,
dentist.
yeah,
Wow.
I had
Okay.
him for 30 years and he goes, I don't know what's going on with you, but if you don't stop what you're doing or make a change, you're going to have a heart attack. I mean, he could feel and see that I just
Wow.
was not in my best self
Mm-hmm.
physically, which I equated and realized, oh my God, that has to do with stress. That's mentally, that's what's going on in my head.
Right.
And I took 6 months off sabbatical before I actually ended up fully retiring. And someone told me about, I literally wanted to help other women reinvent themselves because I
Okay.
thought, okay, let me find the money, found the money from some 401k and my my financial
Mm-hmm.
advisor. And I said, I need time to figure out what I truly want because I've never done that before.
Right. Right.
Most of us women, we do for everybody else. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
don't have children, I still was doing for everyone else. I was trying to make myself into someone that people would like. I never really thought about how I feel about myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so somebody told me about life coaches, and I was like, well, what's that? I wish I had that when I was in my 30s. And I found out about it and I started taking classes and
Mm-hmm.
I got certified in that. And then I started to have clients.
Mm-hmm.
And during that 6 months, I thought, oh, I'm going to interview women that have well, at that time, that had reinvented themselves.
Okay.
And so I did it the old fashioned way. There was no Zoom, there was none of that. I just
Mm-hmm.
went out to their house and recorded them and had an audio tape and just posted it somewhere. I think it was on YouTube. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and then I went back to work, but I demoted myself. I
Oh.
purposely demoted myself from an account manager sales role to a support role.
Okay.
And I did that for 4 years and it
Mm-hmm.
helped. Mind you, it was difficult financially,
Sure.
but emotionally, it was much more helpful.
What
And I
what was
was
it
able.
about that switch from like the account manager to like the more the account support
Mhm.
that that allowed your like body, I guess, and your mind to heal?
So it was the fact that there weren't any real quotas. I mean, over the next 4 years, they did set up some quotas with a support role.
Right.
But the fact that I could take all the skills I had as a account manager, which was really building relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and use that towards helping clients, customers,
Right.
on managing their account and managing everything, billing, all kinds of stuff. I was managing all of it as they were building or changing their business. And these were big companies, right?
Right.
One of
Right.
them even being SpaceX, just big, large companies.
Sure.
I was able to use the best skills that I had without the stress that came along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, financially, it was difficult, but it was worth it because it lowered that heavy stress level and allowed me to really use the skills that I had honed over the many years, which is really about listening to people and relationship building and trust building.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed my whole perspective about what I was doing, and I enjoyed it. I
Okay.
actually enjoyed it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I still wanted to do something else, and I was very excited because now I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to
Okay.
help women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, let me ride my time until I was the right age to be able to tap into the retirement account that I'd been
Sure.
saving. And that
Okay.
took me to December of 2022 where I could fully retire.
Oh, December 2022. I didn't realize you've been a coach for that long. So
So
that's
yeah, I had started in 2019, had to put it on hold for a little
okay.
bit, and then 2022, I said, "Oh, I'm fully retired. I can actually get into it full time."
Very, very cool. And so, as a life coach, you could coach on anything. Why did you move into the space of unconditional, like self love? Let's talk about that.
Well, first of all, I have studied the NLP techniques.
Okay.
I found out about it. And I was very interested in it. And so I went to a Dr. Matt James, some intense training over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And in the training, I was taught his mental and emotional release breakthrough session, which is timeline therapy. If you're not very familiar with it, you're
Yeah.
going on your timeline, you're looking through your unconscious mind, really
Okay.
tapping into your unconscious mind where the original event happened. could have been past lives, could have been generational, passed
Mm-hmm.
down to you, could have been in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
usually before the age of 7, that you heard something or something happened and your unconscious mind made a decision. And
Sure.
that decision was either heavy negative focus emotion or a limiting belief about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in the training, they have us do this breakthrough session on each other.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and after a good couple hours of talking about my childhood and everything that I had been through, all of a sudden I heard my unconscious mind say, "You don't love yourself." And at first I was like, "Oh, that's shameful. Why wouldn't I love myself?"
Right.
But since it was there, and the woman who I was working with said, "What's going on?" And I leaned down really quietly and whispered, "I don't love myself." And she was all excited because she'd reached my root cause of my issues. And so she got up and went over to the training people. "I think I found it. I think," she was really excited. But I was in a ball of emotion.
Oh, I bet. I
And
bet.
it was shame because I thought everybody should love themselves. Why don't I love themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I love myself? Excuse me.
Right.
And I came to find out through that it opened up the door. It opened up the door for me to release all of the challenges that I'd had, the people pleasing, the imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
the feeling like I wasn't enough, that nobody likes me. If I be myself, the vulnerability issues that I strongly had, if I wasn't myself, then people wouldn't like me.
Right.
And that was a huge breakthrough moment for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting a bit emotional about it because when you unlock the fact that if you love yourself, and I always add unconditionally,
Mm-hmm.
then all of the other issues that you have about yourself that are really directed back at yourself unlock. And it's the key to being able to heal from them and
Right.
seeing things in a different light. I
Mm-hmm.
can I've come to understand, because 90% of the clients I have that I use the breakthrough sessions with, that's their problem, is they don't love themselves.
What
And
does that
when
look like? What does that, when we say they don't love themselves or I don't love myself, like, what does that really look like and feel like?
So let's say you make a mistake or you do something wrong, even saying something not so kind to someone that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of saying, "Okay, I made a mistake. I'm going to, number one, apologize. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
forgive myself for making that mistake. I'm going to move on. I'm going to let the person know. And if they accept me, yes. If they don't, then that's just the way it is." That's just like an example. If
Okay.
you love yourself unconditionally, that's how you feel. "Okay, I can apologize. I didn't mean to say it. Something is happening within me. Let me be aware of what it is
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps work on that particular issue. Am I jealous of the person? What is it that's going on?" But
Mm-hmm.
you make a mistake or you have bad people in your life and you're blaming yourself
Mm.
for the issues without allowing the awareness of the issue or the mistake to turn into a lesson, turn into something, a learning moment. So
Yeah.
you are just so critical of yourself that
Mm-hmm.
every single thing that you feel is not right becomes a negative limiting belief, becomes a negative emotion, becomes a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it really causes you to live a life that's not full of that ease and flow, that calmness.
Yes, yes. I want to kind of give the audience an example of this just from my own life this morning. So I was speaking at a summit called the Personalized Business Advantage Summit, and my interview was scheduled for this morning. I had my topic like all outlined, and I know offers like the back of my hand, right? I know them. Like even I had notes, written down, and I got into the interview, and it just wasn't flowing the way I had hoped it was going to flow. It felt, I don't know, it felt forced, it felt rushed, it felt disjointed, it felt all of these things. And I got off of the interview And, my immediate reaction was like, oh my God, Lori, that was horrible. Like, you bombed that interview. And, you know, I was like, okay, if I bombed that interview, which who knows if I did, I don't even know. Like, if people listen to it, they may not think it was bombed at all. I am my worst critic. But I had to just say, okay, forgive myself for whatever I did that did not make that interview like flow the way I wanted it to flow, or even maybe the thoughts that I had in my head that were making it feel like I wasn't delivering my best work. Maybe I was just like energetically like disconnected to the host. I don't really know what it was, but these are the types of things that show up in business, and often stop us or just create stress, like you said. Like, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, like in business. Like, I don't know, probably 90% of the stress that we have in business is self-inflicted. It's because we're struggling internally with our own self.
Yeah. So those thoughts that you had when they
Mm-hmm.
came up,
Mm-hmm.
something I made up, and it was just almost my self-preservation of myself, was when I start that, like a hose, like you've got a water hose, and it just
Mm-hmm.
constant negative thoughts keep coming, because when you think negative thoughts, it actually brings about negative things happening in your life, because your unconscious mind says, oh, she feels that every podcast is going to, I'm just making up, that
Right.
every podcast, I'm going to bomb on every podcast. So if you kept thinking that, oh, I'm just not good at podcasting, oh, I don't know how to talk, I mean, whatever you're
Right.
thinking, and continue to do that, things are going to happen and opportunities are going to come forward to keep proving that that's true. Because your unconscious mind, one of the prime directives of it is to protect you and
Mm.
to prove you right. So if you keep thinking, the negative thoughts are going to keep happening. So what I thought about was, as you are aware, because awareness is key, and that's
Right.
really the first step, is as you're knowing, oh my God, I keep thinking these negative thoughts, just say out loud, or if you're alone, you can do that if you're alone, but if you're
Right.
not, in your head, say, plug the hose. Just it's almost like trying to put a stopper to it and putting a phrase to it where you say, plug the hose, just plug the hose, and then taking a moment to think about what you're thinking about and turning it and flipping it. Reframing it is what
Reframe.
we call it in the NLP world, right? Where saying, I know what I'm talking about. I do a
Mm-hmm.
great job at communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lesson from perhaps my own perceived idea that this wasn't up to my standards. Fine, then I will think about it and I'll put something in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. But I love myself enough that I know that I am really good at what I do, and I have a lot of good information to be able to share. I trust in my own abilities. And so going forward, I'm great on podcasts, just saying it
Right.
as though, turning everything and flipping it on its side. Yeah.
Right. Right. Um, yeah. So the focus, obviously, of this podcast is, around offers, and I want to get to this because one of the things that I know is, if we are not feeling connected to our offers, if we are not feeling confident about our offers, it's very, very hard to put ourselves out there. And, you know, some of it can be strategy that we need to fix, but some of it can just be a general, like, I know just from seeing in the business world, a lot, a lot, a lot of people are talking about, my offers aren't converting. I'm gonna have to pivot. I'm gonna have to do something different. I'm gonna try a new offer. Like, nobody's buying. All of these things that are being said, and business owners are really experiencing this, right? Not every single business owner, but a lot of business owners are experiencing this. So when we reach that point, And the market is showing us signals like they're not buying, they don't like my offer, they don't this, they whatever. Like, how do you like, how would you help somebody like reframe that?
Mhm.
Um, so that it's not, the lack of sales for your offer is not about you per se. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, because it's so easy to just automatically turn inward. And yeah, of course, if we've tried every strategy and things still are not working, like, we always go back to like ourselves and say, what is wrong with me? Like, why doesn't anybody want to buy from me?
So that's a limiting belief right there.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to buy from me. And there's a
Right.
thought that keeps going on in your head. And again, it's going to come forward. One of the things, and I've experienced it myself, and one of the
Hmm.
things that I like when I work with people is once they get to that point where they trust and love themselves, and when they talk to, let's say, potential clients or decide what their offer is going to be, it actually comes from their own values and their own heart center.
Right.
So I know that when I shifted, when I'm talking to, let's say I'm in a networking meeting and I'm talking to them about what I do, I am coming from my heart and the
Hmm.
sheer love of wanting to help people and explaining it to them and really connecting with someone.
Hmm.
So if your offer isn't working, it could be that it's not really heart centered. It's not really crafted in a way that is true to yourself. And
Hmm.
so I am pointing back to yourself, but I'm pointing back to yourself in a sense of how you feel about yourself, your abilities, your trust in your abilities to
Hmm.
help people, and then shifting how you offer it to people necessarily. I mean, the offer itself may be fantastic. Once a
Right.
person gets in there, it's working great. It's how you communicate that offer to someone you meet or a potential client that changes because you're shifting how you feel about yourself.
Hmm.
That
Yes.
to me, that's the key. Yeah.
Yes, I agree 100%. And, we are human beings and we are going to have good days and bad days and mediocre days, right? I've been seeing a lot of, with everything that's been going on in, Minnesota with ice and all of that, a lot of the business owners I'm, in communities with, they're having a hard time just even staying focused on business and, even just showing up for their business. How do you, I guess, suggest people um, ride the waves of life, business, energies, because we're always kind of like up and down. And I don't know that I personally believe that it's humanly possible to show up every day in a high vibrational energetic space. I would love to. That would be amazing. Um, but how do you help people like shift if they are in that kind of low, like vibrational energetic space where they're just like not feeling good about themselves, they're not feeling good about life, they're struggling, they're stressed, or whatever. What can help us like move out of that space?
So, first of all, becoming aware that you're in that space whenever it
Hmm.
happens.
Hmm.
There's several things that can be done. Number one, I'm going to say it as first, is getting help. Get help,
Okay.
find a coach or a
Hmm.
trusted friend or
Hmm.
family member, someone that you can contact to remind you how great you are
Hmm.
and how fabulous you are as far as what you offer in your business and as a human being.
Right.
When that's the first step, right? Is
Hmm.
or at least thinking about finding help from someone to be able
Right.
to turn your day around. But also remembering if in general you are in a good position, you're not living in Minnesota, let's say, you're not
Right.
living, you're not having everything happening to you that's happening to a lot of other people, unfortunately. It is, yes, it is unprecedented times.
Yes.
But if you are someone who has that resonance of loving yourself and a higher love vibration and resonance, then remembering that on a daily basis and remembering that it's your job to continue to uplift others. Those of
Mm-hmm.
us that can should. Let's put it
Right.
that way. You have
Yes.
people that work for you that depend on you. Go in there and say and think, I'm going to keep them thriving in their business because that's what I can do. That's within my
Mm-hmm.
power. And understand that that's what you can do, and please do it. Even vibrationally, when you are in a good place, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's more than not,
Right.
to be able to, like, hey, last year around this time, I was in a bad place when he was elected.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, being a life coach, what is it worth?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to be able to do to help people?
Right.
And a couple people reminded me that what you do now is even more important, because
Mm-hmm.
raising and helping each person one at a time is the way to be able to raise everybody, the community's vibration of love,
Right.
even
Right.
amongst people that cannot. So that's our way of being able to do it. Other than protest, peacefully protesting and all those other things, this is really to help with that. And what I do in particular is I release those beliefs. I actually do a breakthrough session, and part of that is eliciting your true values from your unconscious mind about certain areas of your life, whatever you've chosen an area to release. I always like to start with personal growth and development because it's improving the relationship with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is key with everything. So releasing the events that have happened in your past that are now getting triggered by terrible things that are happening in the world or bad things that happen in your life. If you release that, the triggers start to go away. And things like, I've had all kinds of things going on. My house was painted the wrong color when I hired a painter, and my this broke, and my air conditioning or heater broke, and all these things that happened. But I was in a sense of calm because I knew everything was going to work out. It
Mm-hmm.
could take some time, but I knew, and I am in a place where I just trust that if you believe in God or
Yeah.
your higher being or higher
Right.
source or universe, that they're going to take care of everything and everything's going to be okay. I get
Yes.
angry sometimes too, but since I've learned how to and had the release of these negative emotions and limiting beliefs, everything is more in a sense of calmness
Mm-hmm.
and knowing and trusting that everything's going to work out. Because if you believe that, I know it's a little woo woo, but if you believe that things will work out to your favor and as they are supposed to, then
Mm-hmm.
so be it. It will.
Yeah, I'm reading this book right now. I think I have a copy of it. It's actually really good. It's Have you read this book before?
It's not your money. No, but I'm guessing I can tell what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what I really really love about it is the the they have, what they tell you to do, is to, one, there's like a 5-step process. One is to say the abundance prayer every day. And the abundance prayer is not, oh, universe, or God, bring me more money or whatever. It's not about that. It's really about aligning with what God's plan is for you,
Mhm.
and being open to whatever, like, God's plan is for you. Like, and that's what I've really been practicing a lot, and that's what I think brings me a lot of peace. A part of the prayer is, let leave what is supposed to leave, and let come what is supposed to come, to me. And to be in that space of, like, complete trust and complete, like, belief that God will take care of this. God will take care of, he will remove whatever's not supposed to be in my life. He will take care of it. And what's supposed to be in my life will be amazing and wonderful because he already knows what I need, right?
Yeah, I always say missed expectations are
Mhm.
opportunities gained. What you may think you thought, well, this was the job that I was supposed to get, or this was the
Right.
client that I needed, and it doesn't happen, is actually opening up the door for what should come. Think back
Yes.
in your life. Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
get to do this, but boy, this came instead. And it was even more suited for me and more in alignment with my values in my life.
Yes.
That's exactly how
Yeah,
that's done.
it's funny because last week I was kind of stressing about a client that I just finished up with. And I knew that I had delivered like amazing work for her. And I did it in half the time that I usually do because when she came into the call, she was ready. I'll pay you whatever. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, if I could have just like handed her an offer, that would pay her 100K, and off she goes. That's the kind of client she was. She just like, just do it for me, get it done, like whatever. It took My process isn't like that. My process is deep. I go very like it's very much about alignment. I'm really about like trying hard to position a person correctly in the market, structure the offer in a way that aligns with who they are. And when I finished that work, I wanted to help her bring the offer to life, build her funnel, build her website, bring about her visual brand identity, all of those things, right? She completely ghosted me. And I thought, interesting. Like, interesting. Like, oh my God, like I did such good work for her. And I just had to keep reminding myself, like, okay, this isn't about you. This isn't about you. Um, there's something about your process. Either I'm not fast enough for her, my process is too deep for her. She didn't want to go that deep. I don't know what it is. But now when I look at it, last week I was a bit in a spiral about it. Like, what the heck? Like, why is she just completely ghosting me? You can just tell me no if you don't want to, like, do a website or whatever. But now I look at it and I'm like, it's actually probably a protection, is probably a good thing that this did not happen, because I don't even know why, but I just trust. I just trust that what was meant to be for me will be, what was not meant for me will not be for me. And I feel like that helps me like a lot.
Yeah, from what you're saying, it sounds like that client was really not in alignment with what your offering is. They may have you gave them all kinds of help, and anything could be going in their mind, because again, we all walk around, I call it the bag of rocks, carrying our baggage around. And so she may have thought, oh, I've got all the tools now. I can go from here and I don't need anybody else's help,
Right.
which is not necessarily the case, because you could go even further. But again, she's thinking that way. If she's thinking that way, she's not in alignment with the clients that you would like to have, because you want to
Right.
have success. You want to have success with your clients.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
she doesn't align with that. So fine, letting that go. I also love to say that, we should love ourselves unconditionally. That means imperfections and all. Like,
Mm.
and I like to say warts and all, and I'm writing a book
Let's
about
talk
that.
about that, because that's a really loaded thing of just, and that is one thing I say to myself. I want to love all parts of me, the parts of me that I don't like. And, sometimes I'm, staying in a space of like, I'm mad. Like, I've done a lot of parts work in therapy. So I've kind of separated some of my little parts of me. And it's like, oh my God, there is that mean ass teenager showing up again in my life. And it's like, oh, I hate her. Like, I don't like her. She's so mean. But again, it's like, okay, no, come here, little teenager. Like, okay, what are you afraid of? Like, what are you mad about? Like, what's going on with you? And it's like learning to like embrace all that. Like, what are some of the techniques that I guess you use with your clients to help them like really embrace all parts of themselves?
Well, understanding that any mistakes that you made, whether it was in your past or recently, does not
Mm-hmm.
define who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you lied to someone, or if you're not a liar,
Mm.
it's a mistake that you made, and it's a lesson that's to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's raising your awareness about yourself as something, why did I do that? Really, I have, when in the beginning of the whole breakthrough part of this and the whole discussion with my clients when we start out, I actually do have an ontological assessment tool that came out of Australia that I use in the beginning. And ontology is the study of being. How are you being? And
Okay.
it gives you a 1 to 10 score of the of your healthy relation or unhealthy relationship with 31 aspects of being. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That sounds
fantastic.
cool.
Yeah, and then it really brings out what people's shadows areas are and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that everything that you do that you feel is bad or wrong is not defining who you are. It's just something that you did. You need to step back, forgive yourself, reframe it in a positive way, and
Mm-hmm.
move on. And like with those breakthrough sessions, the first part of it is I'm discussing your childhood and everything about your life and
Mm-hmm.
getting to the root cause of what it is that's causing you to feel negative. And I remind people you can do a bad thing. And I have the one hand talking about parts, and you can do great things, and it's all okay. You can still be someone that you love.
Right.
You can
Right.
make mistakes and you can do great things, and it's the same person. It can exist at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to stop loving yourself or beat yourself up simply
Right.
because right now you made a mistake or you didn't do something that you anticipated would go right. And then on the other side, you're fantastic. Um, and I try and remind my clients that
Mm-hmm.
but the discussions about childhood and all of that does get, and I have a way of asking the right questions to get them
Right.
to what that root cause is. And like I said, 90% are either, are mostly, I don't love myself, but also I'm not enough.
Right.
Some of them, they shouldn't have been born, they felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very
Yeah.
deep, wounds. And those are the things that you may think, oh, when I was 20, something happened and I got really upset. So that's my root cause. No, there was something that happened well before that. And
Right.
put that in your head. And that's a subsequent event. So you're
Mm-hmm.
getting triggered now because you feel that way about yourself. So it triggers you
Right. Right.
easily. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good way to reframe. It's not. I try not to put the label of bad or wrong on something. Obviously, I think that's my coach training. The way, I went through school was a very spiritually based training, but yes, do bad things happen in life? Yes. Do wrong things happen in life? Yes. Um I always try to reframe it in a way of what was the lesson? Like, what was the lesson in this? What did it teach me?
Mhm.
Like, how did I grow as a result of that? Or why am I doing this thing? Like, I'm going to take just a tiny, tiny little example. Maybe you're trying to be consistent with showing up for your business, to have visibility efforts that you want to do, and you're trying to be consistent, but you constantly fall off the wagon and don't follow through. And, we'll typically, oh my God, I'm such a procrastinator. I never follow through. Like, I would be looking and saying, but what's going on? Like, you're not a bad person. It's not like you don't follow through. You follow. I'm sure people follow through on things that they want to do all the time. So,
Yeah.
like, why aren't you following through? Like, what is the block that's keeping you from following through? So that's what I'm always looking at. It's like, what's stopping me? Like, what's stopping me from being the person that I know that I am and can be? It's usually something root underneath it. Um,
I love asking the question, and I got this question from one of the trainers that was in my training, and I
mhm,
just use it all the time when I'm talking to people. I ask them, what needs to be true about yourself to, and let's say someone's thinking, I'm not, good enough to do my business. Well, what
mhm,
needs to be true about yourself to be someone that believes yourself that you can be good in your business. And that usually stops someone to go, oh, well, I need to believe in myself, or I need to love myself.
Yes. And sometimes, though, people will go down the road of, well, I don't have enough experience, or I don't have enough certifications, or I feel like if I just had a few more clients that I could get some case studies with, and or I feel like there's always a something that has to be achieved
Outside of yourself.
outside of yourself, right, that
Right.
has to be achieved before you can say, okay, I'm good enough who I am, to run my business or grow my business.
So again, it understanding that you're responsible for your life,
Right.
understanding that blaming outside sources is not going to change or serve you in any way,
Right. Right.
and trying to go back to, well, what actually needs to be true about myself, either emotionally, or what do I feel needs to be true about myself
Hmm.
in order to be able to be the person or accomplish these things. And when you keep pointing them back to how you feel about yourself, that's when things come out where they say, well, I'm just not good enough.
Right.
And then you get to, because when I was a kid, or, some people kept telling me that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm never going to make
Hmm.
amount to anything. And then you start opening it up even more and understanding that, yeah, so that made me not love
That's a very
myself.
good, yeah, it's a very good question, to what is it about you? And it usually always goes back to, like, not feeling good enough. Like, I know I've done like some brain spotting with my therapist around, like, money, like, and
Mm.
why am I not attracting the amount of money that I would like to attract, right? It always goes back to, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like it's like it's
You're
it's
not
like,
worthy. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not worthy. It's like this
not deserving.
constant uh thing that just underlies, like, so many of these behaviors, like you said, the people pleasing, the imposter syndrome, the over giving, the all of this stuff is all comes down to self-love.
And forgetting that you've done amazing things.
Yes,
There are times
yes.
in your life that you have been so confident and had just an air of excellence. You
Hmm.
accomplished a great goal, and you don't remember those.
Right.
I mean, there's these things called anchoring techniques with the
Okay.
NLP world. And so I love one that I do even before I have them as a client, because I want to show them what I can do for them. And it is about thinking about just one moment in your life where you felt so confident and so
Hmm.
excellent that you just had control of the whole world. You just felt
Hmm.
so good. And envisioning a circle on the ground in front of you. And we go through that whole process, what
Hmm.
color it is, what does it make you feel? And stepping into that circle at the full moment when you feel that sense of excellence and confidence. And as soon as it even starts to go away, you step out, and we do that a couple times. And
Okay.
then that circle, that invisible but you can see and understand circle, when you go for a job interview or you go to speak or get on a podcast, you
Hmm.
can step into that circle if you feel
Circle,
less
yeah.
confident, and all of a sudden it is the emotions that come back and go, I can do this, I've done it before, I can do it again.
I love that. I love that. That's very, very cool. So we're getting close to end. What is just some daily practices
Yeah.
that business owners can do to continue to practice self love and unconditional? And I love that word too, just unconditional self love, no matter what kind of day you're having, no matter what happens outside of your business. What are some of those daily practices that can just help people stay grounded?
I'm going to say something silly that you may think is silly, but waking up in the morning, when you
Hmm.
look at yourself in the mirror, really eye to eye,
Okay.
say, I love you, I believe in you, and I trust you.
I love
And
that.
just saying those things to yourself, and even giving yourself that, kind of a high
High
five,
five. Uh-huh.
and just starting your day that way. And then being aware every time you get those negative thoughts about yourself, and that, oh, I can't do this, or this client doesn't like me and that's why they
Hmm.
didn't sign up for me, whatever it is, being aware of it and turning it on its flip side And then writing it down is like a positive affirmation, because I know people say, positive affirmations don't work. Yes, they do.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the habit forming kind of
Hmm.
practice, right? That kind of behavior where you start a habit of saying the positive things about yourself. I mean, I have that on my computer, and every day I look at it and I
Absolutely.
think
I
about
believe
it.
them. I told you about the abundance prayer. I said the abundance prayer for the first time. I was reading it like the first time, and went out for a walk, and these two young gentlemen were driving by in a car and said, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Like, I'll receive prayer right now. Like, it can't hurt me. So they hopped out and talked to me for a few minutes, said a prayer for me. And I'm like, see, I will receive what is meant for me. I will let go what is not meant for me. So I 100,000% believe if you say those affirmations with like full emotion and belief, yeah, they'd absolutely work.
And then seeking help from someone
Seeking
like
help. Yes.
yourself, from someone like myself. There's coaches,
Right.
therapists. I mean, I
Yes.
truly believe in what I do. And I've had clients where once they worked with me and started loving themselves, guess what? They had the courage to be able to talk to potential clients. They got potential clients. Everything changed in their business. I had a woman whose migraine headaches went away, which really
Mhm.
helped her in being able to live her life in a much
Sure.
more productive way, including where
Of
she
course.
worked. Yeah. So there's been so many completely just changes in both personal and
Mhm.
professional life that happens when you get help. You need to say, I want help and I'm willing to get help, and allow yourself to do it.
Yes. Yes. And I believe when you really want that help, the right help will show up.
Exactly.
It 100%
Exactly.
will.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. Tell the listeners where they can be connected with you, just to stay in your circle.
So really it's easy. Ladieswholeap.com, and that's LEAP. And
Hmm.
again, remember, you don't have to leap big leaps. You can take small leaps. There's,
Right.
sometimes people think that's difficult. And it has links to all of my social media, even the podcast. I would love Ladies Who Leap, the channel on YouTube, for you to
Okay.
check out the podcast there and subscribe, because that's one of my goals. So,
To grow your podcast.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So go to the podcast, listen to the podcast, be inspired by ladies who are leaping in this world in small ways and in big. So thank you so much, Lisa,
Thank
for
you.
being on the show today.
Thank you, Lori.